What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode on the Fantasy Fellowship channel. My name is Kyle. In this video, we're going to talk about some sleepers at ADP right now. We're going to be looking at drafters.com. If you want to play best ball leagues, drafters.com, link in the description below. I did put one there for underdog too. I believe drafters is PPR, full PPR. Underdog is half PPR. So it's nice. I'm currently drafting right now. If you guys want to make me do a video on who I've been drafting, I can totally do that later. But let's just kind of open up. I want to open up the rankings here for football so far. And I know it's April 5th. It's super early. We haven't even had the draft yet, so it's kind of like fishing in the dark. But I just wanted to kind of pull it up and say who's overrated, who's sleepers at ADP. So this one's the sleeper video. I'll attach the overrated video after this. But I don't know. As far as sleepers, I'm not going to be out here calling, first and second round guys, not even probably third round guys, but there are some players that I feel are, a pretty good value. You can see they're sorted here by ADP. So we're going to kind of just continue to work our way down the list here until I find some sleepers here that make sense to shout out. If you saw some of the guys on the thumbnail, we'll get to them in a second. But I did want to kind of put, just a shout out to Jalen Waddle. I think the question between Waddle and Tyreek Hill, for me, it's going to be Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill still has a ADP of about 16.4, as a mid to early second round pick, whereas Jalen Waddle, he's got an ADP of 28.4. He's going as a mid to early third round pick. And I just think, with defenses having to sit on Tyreek Hill and focus on him, I think Jalen Waddle is going to continue to eat and rack up and lead that team in reception. So I like Waddle. Not really going to call him a sleeper, but I do think he offers some value. Saquon Barkley, David Montgomery seem to be valuable players as well. But as we get a little bit farther here into, I guess, around the 40s, I mean, James Conner, can't really call a guy a sleeper that just ran for how many touchdowns last year? He ended up with, what was it? I don't know, like 15. Yeah, he had 15 touchdowns last year, 15 games, 15 touchdowns. He also caught 3 touchdowns, so 18 total TDs. And he's not even really being respected here at ADP. He's down here at number 39.9 ADP, going after some guys like Saquon and David Montgomery. I like these guys, but I just think James Conner could be, instead of, going 40th overall, I could see him going up here in the early to mid 20s. More sleepers here at ADP. I thought I put Amari Cooper on the board. I don't think I did. But Amari Cooper, going off is around 44.9. Had a really nice end of the season. You look at his last 4 games, 18.4, 12.9, 10.8, 21.5. He finished the season really strong. And now we're going to put him with Deshaun Watson, who last time I checked, he's a pretty good quarterback, regardless of what you think or how you view his, allegations that just went to trial. But Amari Cooper is going to be the lead dog there. I don't know how many receptions that's going to be good for. I'm thinking between 70 and 80. Good chance at 1,200 some yards and to lead that team in receiving touchdowns. So Amari Cooper, I mean, I at 44.9, like that's a slam dunk. I mean, I draft him over DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson. To me, I'm probably putting Amari Cooper in this boat with Higgins, Waddle, Hopkins, and Keenan Allen in the mid third. So let's boost up Amari Cooper a little bit. One of my favorite sleepers. I don't know if like Josh Jacobs at 46th overall, it seems like fair value. I kind of want to call him a sleeper though, because just look at his last 5 games. They did lose that postseason game to the Bengals, but he still puts up 83 rushing yards, 4 for 44. He put up 54 receptions last year, which I thought was pretty fantastic. No receiving touchdowns, but 54 catches, 348 yards. As far as a PPR back, he can totally do it. We don't know what's going to be the story for Kenyon Drake going into the season. But look at these last 5 games from Josh Jacobs: 16.7, 22.4, 18, 11.4, and 12.4. I mean, he's a lock fire running back too. 46th overall feels like a little too cheap. Mike Williams, kind of boom bust. Not sure if I feel about that. But let's look at some of these sleepers. I think Jerry Jeudy, J.K. Dobbins, those 2 guys could be having themselves some really nice seasons, especially JK after not having played last year. He should be, chomping at the bit to get back on the field. But let's keep it moving a little bit. I'm super interested in the running backs, Elijah Mitchell and Travis Etienne. I don't know if I like calling these guys my favorite draft picks in this range, because I guess, you see their ADPs around 60, right now. I tend to be drafting, quarterback here, whether it's Burrow or Kyler Murray. Sometimes Lamar falls. A lot of times I like Michael Pittman. I think Michael Pittman's a sleeper. And I mean, a lot of people drafted Michael Pittman earlier in the season, and through the first 8 weeks, he was on fire. You see a 20.3, a 20.9, 20.5, and a 30.6, just putting up some massive games. And then the last half of the season, it just wasn't as good. He kind of dwindled here against Buffalo, 4.3, 9.3 against Tampa Bay. The 1.7 against New England was bad. But for the most part, Michael Pittman played like a really steady wide receiver 2 last year, sometimes a fringe wide receiver 1. And I'm going to say that they improved the quarterback situation. Matt Ryan's a definite upgrade over Carson Wentz at this point, and I just think another season of veteran quarterback play and just getting better as a young wideout. It's going to be really good for Michael Pittman. So I'm going to kind of call him as a sleeper, a 5th round sleeper that you could get some really good value on. And then as far as now we're getting to kind of the fun part. So this is kind of like 6th round and up. I think Allen Robinson. I don't know if I put him on the thumbnail, but Allen Robinson he had a terrible year last year with the Chicago Bears. 38 catches, 410 yards, and 1 touchdown. Awful season. Awful season. He's going to be catching passes from Matt Stafford now. And Odell Beckham's not with the team. Robert Woods not with the team. We're talking about Allen Robinson being the wide receiver 2 in LA. Van Jefferson's still there. I still like him as a deep sleeper. But as far as a player in the 6th round, where keep in mind, last year at ADP, people were taking Robert Woods in the 3rd round and Cooper Kupp in the 4th round. So both Rams receivers valued as 3rd and 4th round picks. Allen Robinson, man, he's probably worth a 4th or 5th round pick. So I see some slight value in drafting Robinson in the 6th round. We're going to get to Gabriel Davis here. This is a sleeper that a lot of people are like, hey, who's on the depth chart anymore? We're talking about Stephon Diggs at the top for sure. But Emmanuel Sanders, not sure where he's going to play. Cole Beasley, not sure where he's going to play. They did sign Jamison Crowder, but Crowder's not going to compete with Gabriel Davis. He's strictly a slot receiver. So Gabe Davis is the starting outside receiver for Josh Allen this year. So again, everyone's going to remember this 8 reception, 201 yard, 4 touchdown game against Kansas City. He also scored a touchdown against New England in Week 19, 2 for 41 and a touchdown. Just really had some big boom games here. So I think as far as 6th round receivers, man, this is where it gets fun. You're talking Allen Robinson, you're talking Gabe Davis, and then the cover of our thumbnail today, Darnell Mooney. Massive season last year. Of course, Allen Robinson was not himself last year. He played 12 games. So keep in mind, he's not with the Bears this year. Darnell Mooney could even be looking at even more receptions and targets. Last year, 81 catches, 1,055 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I have a feeling maybe the receptions don't go up, but I think the yards can go up, and I think there's room for the touchdowns to definitely go up significantly, even upwards of 8 to 10 touchdowns. So I think Darnell Mooney, it's aligning for Darnell Mooney. I think in the 6th round when it comes to A-Rob, Davis or Mooney's going to be the wide receiver 1 on his own team, whereas Davis and Robinson are they're for sure the wide receiver 2s. So to me, Mooney, one of the best values right now as far as a sleeper receiver in the 6th round, but really digging the value here in the 6th round. Let's look for some more sleepers here. I don't know why Damian Harris is going off at 76.6. This is essentially a 7th round pick at the moment right now. He performed admirably last year. Again, he ran for, where are his stats? 929 yards in 15 touchdowns. He did catch 18 for 132, so that's roughly a catch per game. He did play 15 games. And then, of course, the rushing touchdowns are going to come down. I still think he's going to lead the Patriots in rushing here, but you're talking about a guy who, when he plays, he's going to be a running back 2 for you. He's got basically a really good. He's got probably an 80% chance of scoring a rushing touchdown. He's going to add at least 1 catch and rack up 15 carries or so. So Damian Harris feels a little bit low there. Kenneth Walker, depending on where he lands, I like that. TJ Hawkinson coming in at tight end number 80. I don't know why he's kind of getting the hard shoulder here. He started off the year hot, 2 back-to-back 20-point games. Weeks 3, 4, 5, kind of down in the dumps. But after that, from week 6 to 13, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games out of 7 in double digits. Not sure what happened in this Pittsburgh game. 0 catches. It looks like, I don't know about targets, but 0 catches in that Pittsburgh game is rough. But you're talking about a tight end here that's got top 5 tight end upside. A little bit of a sleeper potential there. Dallas Goedert, another guy that I like as far as sleepers. But now we're getting to a couple fun running backs that I like here. I think A.J. Dillon, definitely one of my favorite sleeper running backs. And we're talking A.J. Dillon at an ADP of about 90. Guy, we're talking 8th, 9th round pick A.J. Dillon at the moment right now. And last year, he ran for 803 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. He did catch 34 balls for 313 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's averaging, what is that? 187 plus 34. Let me do the math real quick. 187 plus 34 and divide that by 17 games played. He averaged 13 touches per game last year. That's going to go up. We know the receiving outlook for the Packers is not great this year. We think they're going to run the ball more. 13 touches a game for A.J. Dillon, only 7 touchdowns last year. I just feel like the touches are going to go up, the yards are going to go up, and touchdowns will follow. So big A.J. Dillon fan in the 8th round. Keep it moving. Cornell Patterson, kind of a sleeper at this point. Tony Pollard, though, I think he was the other thumbnail guy that I had on here, especially in a best ball format. Tony Pollard had a fantastic season. I'm not super excited to leave him in there as my running back 2 flex, but he's definitely going to be a guy if you're playing 0 running back strategy. He's definitely going to be a guy that you're looking to potentially draft. So Tony Pollard last year, and again, he just flat out looked better than Ezekiel Elliott at points last year. So he had 169 total touches. We're going to divide that by his 15 games played. That's about 11.2 touches per game here, and only 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to guarantee his touchdowns are going up. He's going to score more than 2 touchdowns this year, and I think there's room for his touches to grow. So A.J. Dillon, Tony Pollard, 2 of my favorite stash running backs. I think Trey Lance, still got to wait and see what's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo, but Trey Lance, definitely a sleeper quarterback. Chase Edmonds, super curious to see how this breaks down. The backfield in Miami now has Chase Edmonds, Myles Gaskin, and Raheem Mostert. I want to buy into him being a sleeper, but I'm a little bit worried it's a little bit busy back there. Dawson Knox, big sleeper potential here. 106.6 is his ADP. Tua Tagovailoa, one of my favorite sleeper quarterbacks for the season. Justin Fields as well. I think I got to shout out Rondell Moore, potentially having more on his plate with Christian Kirk off in Jacksonville. Where is Christian Kirk? Christian Kirk's got an ADP of about 99. To be honest, that feels a little low. I mean, Christian Kirk had a fantastic season with Kyler Murray last year. He caught 77 receptions for 982 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think that was good for a top 30 wide receiver finish. Probably should expect something similar for him as he's the leading receiver for Trevor Lawrence now. And then after that, I'm just going to kind of rapid fire some guys. Alan Lazard as a sleeper, Ryan Tannehill as a sleeper, William Fuller, depends on where he signs. One of my favorite strategies in all of fantasy football is to wait on sleeper tight ends. Albert Okwuegbunam, get used to that name. Albert Okwuegbunam, one of the best sleeper tight ends that you're going to find this year. And again, I talked up to Damian Harris. Ramondre Stevenson, going to be a good player though. Ronald Jones, interesting guy. You guys know I have a soft spot for Ronald Jones. He's a good runner. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, though, one of these Kansas City receivers, MVS, Mecole Hardman, or Juju, is going to have some value. I just think especially if you play best ball, MVS is probably the guy you want to look for there. Another tight end, Hunter Henry, sleeper potential. Not a fan of Noah Fant with no quarterback there. Cole Kmet, probably a guy who he didn't score a single touchdown last year, but he caught 60 receptions for 612 yards. So that's his floor to build from. No touchdowns. I think he's going to make some noise. And then my final guy of the video, Chief David Njoku, Cleveland Browns. He's got the tight end role all to himself. Austin Hooper now with Tennessee. Harrison Bryant's still there, but man, we're going to see a career season from David Njoku. I'm willing to put him on my list. So just some sleepers for you guys. Again, it's April. I know it's early. Let me know in the comments, who are your favorite sleepers to draft so far if you're drafting, or who are you excited to get on your teams? Super curious. And again, use that drafters.com in the description. Use that link to sign up with my promo code. And I think you get a free $10, whatever you need. But thank you guys so much for your time. I'll see you in a future video. Peace.